They decided then in this best of 5 of the first round of the 2v2 Vanilla Winter Championship hosted by AOL Destroyer is gonna be played on Medit. So that's, if you remember correctly, that's the home map for Deities of Death. So Dots may be having a bit of an advantage, but at the same time, maybe their opponents from Mad Goose Bad have actually learned a bit from that map and will know how to do things a bit better. Like, for example, how to not take ceasefire on a water battle and take the pestilence. Yeah, the ceasefire wasn't really working for them all that much. But the gods are gonna be for Brickhead Thor. That's good, because, of course, that is a strong god on water. Basically, in the vanilla, Thor is a very versatile god. He can play both water and land, and he's really very good. So he cannot really make any kind of mistake with him, as is the same for Joe, who is picking Set. Set is also pretty strong in vanilla. And for the opponents, GrandMonster are coming for Isis, which he feels is gonna be a bit of a safe pick. And for Wuffles, it's gonna be Zeus. So yeah, not really having any kind of problem with all the gods, but we're not gonna be seeing Pestilence in this game. It's gonna be Zeus, probably with Restoration and whatever other else shenanigans. Maybe Isis. Isis probably with Sea Serpents. Yeah, I'm expecting that's gonna be the course of action here. Let's see.
Great.
Alright, let's start off the game. Wow. That's a great spawn. That's the type of spawn that I'm kind of missing in AOT nowadays. Because this is kind of ridiculous. This is really funny. Anyway, this is gonna be quite nice peninsula with even the gold on top of it. This is gonna be a bit of a bonus, of course, for Brickhead, who is gonna be quite happy about this. He can potentially place the rock all the way there, but yeah, well, he opted to go for it there, and let's switch what he actually sees. Okay, he's probably thinking that he doesn't go as far as he does. He's gonna be probably a bit surprised a bit later. But it still looks like a pretty good spot at this point, even though it definitely could have been better. Definitely could have been better. This is not bad, all things considered. He's having a 3-sum double and another 3-sum reasonably close, so it's gonna be quite fine for the early stage of the game. Not gonna be any issue. And for the ally at the top, Joe, he's having a 3-sum, but then, oh sorry, it's getting a bit harder. A bit harder overall. It's gonna be quite far, but still should be fine for normal advanced timing and whatever. But otherwise the fishies are slightly better on the left. It's almost like the map actually looks slightly like a fish. It seems it's gonna be a tail, or rather, let's bring it up like this. Oh, actually cannot run now. The right side is gonna be like the tail, another tail fin at the bottom. Then this is like an open mouth. This is like the top of the head. There's like a little fish in there. But anyway, to return back to some more important things. We are having plenty of fishies on the left, which seems to be really better positioned slightly for MCB. They're probably gonna be a bit happier about all of that, but... what the hell is this dog supposed to be? That's one of... Oh man, come on. I mean, against Pestilence, I could see the idea there. Place one here, and the second one like far away there. And Pestilence is not gonna be basically a problem for you. But right now... it's kinda similar to Brickhead. So let's just basically not call anybody having any kind of issues with that. It's kind of very similar. He's gonna be having a bit worse situation because he doesn't have the extra double, but still double triple is quite fine. Then it's gonna be very far away. But second dog about here is gonna be very sweet. Plenty of 3-sum are gonna be close by. So in the end, it could have been worse. But yeah, also could have been slightly better, to be honest. At any rate, TCs don't seem to be in water range. This is gonna be one of the closest ones, which isn't. I think this is too far away. It shouldn't be too close by. Rather close enough. This either and this one. No, well, either. I'm thinking no TC is gonna be in water range, which is a bit different from actually the first melee that we played, that we had witnessed today. As there is gonna be relic for both Artemis, which is of course cheaper archers, trolls and centaurs that could be useful in here, as the second relic is gonna be for what? Second is on the left side for Mithril Horseshoes. That's better cavalry speed. That's actually a very nice one. That's probably gonna get used. That is probably gonna get used. Guitar of Apollo for better villager speed. A very good one for helping even economy. not just escaping from any kind of fights, as of course you can see that Joe is already trying to convert a few animals to his side so that he can abuse his opponent as fast as possible. On the right flank, there is gonna be another relic, the nose of the Sphinx, for better building hit points, which is nice, very nice on any kind of map. In the meantime, of course, the gold is gonna be another important spot. This is very interesting placement. It should be out of range of some arrow ships. So in case dots actually lose the water, they still should be having a good job, or rather, a good chance of gathering from this source. Another gold mine is at the very back, but that seems to be more or less it for Brickhead. And for Joe, he's having one kind of frontish, one backish, so pretty much the same as his teammate. But not really all that safe, besides the one at the back. To be completely honest about that. Of course, Wuffles is having one behind his base, two are between them, and there are a few more on the right side, which is not exactly all that safe. It can be maybe targeted by Brickhead a bit later, but still it could be safe if he actually was properly, like about here, or at least just basically controls his front TC. That's all it's gonna take. That is all it's gonna take for him. We are right now advancing into the classical ages. Is that the first one? Yes, it is for Brickhead. GrandMonster halfway into Anubis. That is not really all that unexpected. We are gonna be seeing the sea serpents, which are pretty strong on water battles. In Vanilla, Ptach is gonna be coming for Joe. For some shifting sands. What's actually the second god? He can get also for Anubis. Well, I'm asking because you basically don't see set playing anything else, so I just couldn't right off the bat figure it out. Literally sets don't do anything else than Ptach. But Anubis, I don't think it's such a bad idea. I think it might be viable on water in Vanilla especially. But yeah, well, it's not gonna be used here. As of course, Wuffles is coming through Athena, which is most definitely kinda necessary at this point. He's gonna be having second dock right next to the first one. Well... yeah, well, don't get that too much, but okay. Let's see how it works out. Maybe there's an idea behind it, even though I don't really see it. I don't really see it at this point, because he's really limiting efficiency of his food gathering. At the expense of absolutely nothing, because of course the dogs, yet again, yeah, on the water map, so let's just remind everybody for the 100th time, in Vanilla don't shoot. So any kind of dock right next to dog doesn't make all that much of a sense. It's much better to actually spread them out. As there was Shifting Sense trying to steal a few villages, and he stole 3 villages, one of them is dead. And this is gonna be surviving. Okay, but they... fortunately, they're gonna be coming into the enemy hands. Is there actually something that the Brickhead could be doing about that? He's having a Herster in there, and a Wolfsark. So maybe he could. He could be helping with that a bit. And... oh, yes, thank you. Okay, this is a very clever use of that. And you can see that right now, Joe is completely confounded. What the hell? Where did they go? Where are they? Yeah, they're just going... for gold gathering, which is unfortunately gonna be discovered, but yeah, it's kind of funny at this point. Kind of funny. And unfortunately, it's gonna be the resulting into Wuffles wasting 50 wood. This isn't exactly something that you want, and we might at the same time go into some kind of first parts of the water battle. Where of course Wuffles is gonna be having a few boats less apparently than Joe, as Joe is gonna be having stronger economy, but otherwise at the bottom side it might be a bit different. Like the opposite. Like an opposite in here. As of course... you'll be expecting that GrandMonster as an Egyptian would be having a slight edge, but it's not really all that true in Vanilla, and you can see that Brickhead is playing very well. Is Thor, and he did in the first merit as well, so he definitely knows how to play water on Vanilla in there. So far, we don't see the snakies being used. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Would be like in the snake is already to be used somewhere cleverly. Usually they are well used if you are attacking the opponent, and basically to place them right next to docks. This is so hard to actually overcome in Vanilla because the dogs don't shoot and you cannot really do anything efficient about it. So yeah, he's probably waiting for that kind of moment to more or less close the game in there, because that is definitely a viable option. What to do? It definitely is. Okay, so amount of boats for Joe is not really all that overwhelming yet. And it's almost looking like that actually dots, or rather, MCBs are a whole lot more interested in strong doubles. They already were, it was making plenty of sense. Exactly. Yes, anyway, exactly how I said that it should be done, and that's nice to see. They are using it correctly, and this is gonna be making quite significant issues for Brickhead, but at the same time then, oh, well, could have been doing a bit differently. They need to protect them a bit longer. But they found themselves into a pretty bad double, and they should have been concentrating a bit more on Brickhead, because he's the most dangerous one. He's the most dangerous one. Potentially some reinforcement could have dealt with like those few bows from Joe, and in the meantime, of course, they've lost a few snakies. Even though they are, of course, tanking plenty of damage in there as well. But, yeah, it's nicely done still overall. And this could be quite a significant water fight. That might be hard for actually DoDs to overcome. So far, on the land, nothing unusual happening. As GrandMonster is coming for the gold for him. But are they gonna be working? Because there is a bit of microwing going on and kiting by Brickhead, which is, of course, right now doing his job. Yeah, you can see those two pursuing or doing damage or whatever. He's doing what he can, literally what he can. And it seems that it might be actually buying him extra time, and especially to Joe, to his teammate, to somehow significantly help him in time. And it's almost looking that it could be happening, because the snakies are dead. We right now coming with plenty of cabinets forward, and it's really looking like that actually right now Wuffles and GrandMonster kinda mismanaged the battle, because they did have the numbers, but they just didn't concentrate properly. They were just all over the place. You can see they are just basically fighting like 1 versus 1 all the boats. Whereas DoDs are not exactly doing that. I'm not entirely certain if it's just by pure luck, or if DoDs are concentrating on that a bit. It seemed like the Brickhead was doing, at least Brickhead was doing a good job controlling his boats, so it might be a result of skill. In which case, of course, it's quite valuable. And well, in the meantime, of course, there is gonna be a first battle on land, or battle. Not really battle, just a bit of a fun with animals. If they're not gonna die first, which they apparently are. Well, that was a nice idea. If it wasn't so botched. Shame. But yeah, well, at least he's gonna be having a few extra population limits. So let's look at the positives of that. Let's look at the positives. As of course, right now, Red with his steel teammate, well, they still seem to be having some kind of idea that they could be winning. It's almost looking like that, and that will be because Brickhead probably more or less gave up on the water. He seems to be right now switching onto land already. Yeah, that seems to be really the case. Yep, it most definitely is. He's not even building inside, so okay, this is basically just now a done deal. The water is gonna be coming for their opponents, for MCBs, and in that case, yeah, well, it's gonna be switching into another part of the game, and that will be who is gonna be advancing into land better. Into a bit better. Apparently, I need to do something a bit in the chat. So that's that. That is taken care of. And let's go and concentrate on our game here. On the right side, you can see that Red has at least scouted that his opponent is already coming there this fast. So maybe he could be ready for that, or rather getting ready for that. And of course, once you win the water in a timing like this, then you should be having better advance into Heroic Age than your opponent. And, well, he's already coming for barracks. That's an interesting choice. That's an interesting choice that he's actually coming for barracks, expecting that he will have to fight before he gets into Heroic Age. Let's switch into GrandMonster. That is a strange decision, because he's really getting into Heroic Age timing. And with him being Egyptian, having towers at... yeah, well, having basically just one useful tower. If he would wall properly, then I kinda think he could be surviving for enough time to give him the ancestors and basically produce units once he's advancing into Heroic Age. Not sure, but he opted to do it like this. And let's see if Brickhead will be able to actually mount some kind of decisive offensive. Because of course, right about now, GrandMonster should be ready with at least a bit of units from his barracks. Oh, right now running out of gold. That doesn't help. And why is he actually coming to the bottom? Didn't he see those in the middle? Yes, he did. So he knows there are actually gold mines in the middle. And in that case, it's a slightly strange decision because, of course, since he knows he's gonna be under attack by his opponent, he's already right now in the clicking into Nephthys, so that's nice to see. It was just a bit delayed apparently. So yeah, it seems like that he did exactly what was expected of him. This might be just basically a reaction to that he's hoping that he's gonna be effective enough. He needs the gold right now quite desperately and as fast as possible to drop the McB. So there's gonna be the reasoning behind that, why not going for a bit safer gold at the very back. But yeah, already Valkyrie being shield maiden and all the units coming forward to get rid of the watchtower. And unfortunately for him, he's just a bit too late because the gold is already out. How's it looking with Joe? He is all the way back, getting a bit of hunt in there. Right next to back TC of Brickhead. Otherwise in the front he's trying to at least gather something from the gold mine. As for, of course, Deal, he is quite nicely established already, preparing himself for the Heroic Age aggression. That's not really bad at all, as the economy is growing for him. Does he have Blow? He should be, yes he is. Quite nice upgrades in the economy, and then apparently Heroic Age is not that far behind for Wolves. Yeah, Apollo is definitely coming. Definitely coming. Brickhead still in classical, but aiming for the Heroic Age, looking at the resources at this point. Joe is already halfway into Nephthys. So the water should be more or less done. And we're probably gonna be very soon seeing if this is gonna be in range or not. Yeah, this is gonna be resolved very soon, if it's gonna be safe for Brickhead or not. So this is it. This is gonna be McB protecting the gold mine in pretty good spot. Unfortunately, of course, he wasn't able to control the second gold mine all that much. But looking at the overall position, it's not any kind of issue. It's basically at this point not an issue, because he can just produce a few towers, get rid of it fast enough. He already killed the Wolfstark, of course, who was just idling right next to the building he just built. And this is though very interesting by Brickhead. He kinda... Did he like fully sneak? He shouldn't have snuck up there. Because of course there are plenty of buildings, so GrandMonster should be knowing about him. But maybe he just didn't care, or he couldn't just do anything. That's more likely. That's more likely than anything. And this side build, that's gonna be important, because of course he's gonna be denying the town center. And that means he's gonna be denied all those secondary town centers. This is maybe... Kinda thinking I would just go for Ancestors and get TC. Because what he wants to do, at this point what he actually plans to do, because the front TC is absolutely impossible for him. Or rather absolutely, reasonably impossible, because Brickhead is ready for that. And he kinda has to know that, because of all the building spam and whatever. And this is really gonna be quite dangerous, of course, not only to him, but also to Wuffles, who was hoping that he can get some safe gold in there. But yeah, well, not really all that much. Not all that much indeed, as there was an attempt to actually build a log here by the set. It was quite sneaky. Okay, quite sneaky indeed, by some kind of fishing boat in there. But he is right now pushing forward. He does have the Ancestors to actually help him in the fight, as there is no ceasefire or anything. And it seems that he might be really just happy with the siege works first and foremost, as he does have the McB quite a bit back, protecting of course the TC and the gold in there. And well, come on, Empower Boy. Empower Boy.
Into you.
And apparently the spam of the units is a whole lot stronger than for his opponent. So yeah, even though of course the Hippicons are quite good, especially since there are mediums, and there's an underworld passage coming up with... Wow, this is a sad timing on all things considered. This is interesting. As basically Joe was hoping to stop the TC in there. Then the underworld passage was cast to prevent this town center, which failed to completely, because Brickhead did have the frost, so he basically frost all the army, which is gonna be resulting of course in the Ancestors. Come on, get rid of the underworld passage, please. That's probably gonna be following fairly soon. Hopefully Joe is gonna be paying enough attention. So far I'm kinda thinking he is much more interested in sending units, yep, into the main battlefield in the middle. But this is just a bit of a shame, because there's gonna be an easier way for all those units from those buildings to get into the battlefield right there. So maybe it's not gonna be as easy a fight as it potentially could have been. Yeah, instead of doing anything significant, those Ancestors are just, I don't know, trying to clear up some towers. Not really doing anything all that important in here. But what is important is the DC being denied right now in full. With the elephants coming in and the siege tower as well. So this is just gonna be completely denied. No questions asked. This DC is so far surviving, but... will it survive in the long run? Because the GrandMonster is even using his villagers to actually take it down. Yeah, they're not raw villagers, so they're not, of course, having... Oh, this has to be disheartening, that fortified TC. Right when it seemed like that he could be actually killing it. But it seems like that he still will. It seems that he still will, as those units are not killing the siege tower all that fast. But finish my thought from a bit earlier. He's not raw, so no skin of the rhino. And did he really leave it just before dealing the final blow? Luckily, he does have a few extra units, so he was able to still kill it, but man, that almost looked a bit too tricky in there. But anyway, all the army is coming back, as on the right flank there is not much going on, just basically the longhouse has been finally killed. Then the hill fort is gonna be coming up, confirming this TC is in Brickhead's full on power, as on the left side there is a very nice attempt, and apparently very successful attempt as well, by Wuffles to finish his front TC. Well, Joe, you kinda underestimated the position in there. That should be fairly easy to actually control with the army, and like no army by Wuffles. But Wuffles does have quite good capabilities of producing units, because of having the extra water economy, apparently slightly faster than what Joe has so far been able to master. In the meantime, this Miguel is gonna be important if we're not gonna be seeing some kind of siege boats, of course, coming up soon.
Into you.
Let's switch into Wuffles. Maybe there's an idea like that. Apparently not. Apparently not. He's apparently still missing Saltamphora as well. You're having only Pulsane. It's a bit of a shame, since he's having such a good advantage from the water. Could be even bigger for him, it seems like, at this point. And he's given an opportunity to Joe to basically make up for that. And with all the army that he's having, this is gonna be getting a bit tricky for us. Even though all those horses, both types of them, are already heavy, and the baseline of upgrades is already there, this is not gonna be a bad battle, because we have seen... That was probably just some kind of siege works or whatever. Are being killed, the Miguel is standing, and that's a good spot for Joe to potentially fall back to. This is seeming looking very good for Wuffles. All things considered, you can see that Teal is not really dying as fast as Joe is, so let's call it for Wuffles for a bit longer, or rather, as a slight victory for him. As in the middle, the TC was attempted to be actually taken by GrandMonster, but well, so far he's not successful, as Brickheads, especially the hill fort, is problematic in there, producing exactly the correct units, like the Huskarls. They seem to be very important for that. But yeah, there is also attack from the right side, with, of course, from Frost Giant, some rams, and this is actually very important, because the gold is still, there is still 2000 gold. Much more importantly than anything, once this gold runs out, he doesn't have any kind of save gold at all, because this gold is not safe, because of all those shenanigans, and Brick has still been very much present in there, together even with Joe, denying this gold mine. So these two gold mines are absolutely crucial to MCBs, and especially to the Egyptian. He does have potentially some kind of claim on this gold. If he can drop a Migdol right next to it, it could be his. Or he could be also trying to win this one. Yeah, well, might, but it's a lot of mites here. A lot of mites indeed, as apparently Underworld Passage is gonna be gone, which is gonna leave the situation fully in hand of GrandMonster, as he's fighting against Brickhead, who is still in his front TC. Right now, exactly recognizing the right time for that. And well, the time is slightly running out for GrandMonster to somehow really get his base under control, because so far this back build by Brickhead is literally game changing for him and making things incredibly difficult for his game plan. Well, this gold is also, well, it's still very much alive. 3000 is a lot. Those chariot archers are not gonna help though. Not gonna be making that healthy mining conditions all that much. As Green is apparently attempting to move forward, but the fort is finished. That is a nice one, and those manticores are not a bad idea either. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be a good combination. Manticores getting rid of all the spearmen, whereas basically horses deal with all the rest. Here, as Wuffles is not really going into Mythic. You can see he's missing gold quite significantly. Brickhead also not. GrandMonster most definitely not. And Joe though, yes. Joe actually is. Sorry about the view lock in there. Joe is heading into Mythical Age. And once he gets the Tornado, probably. No, not sure. But I would be guessing Tornado would be useful in this stage. He could be really leveling the TC and opening his way into the enemy base quite easily. In the meantime, apparently, finally, Brickhead's base in between bases has been dealt with, which is gonna be given opportunity for GrandMonster to take a second TC, which is much more important exactly because of the gold mines here again. Those golds, super important at this point. And this is a huge victory for MCBs. This is gonna be allowing them both to stay in the game for much longer, even though on the right side it's not looking all that great. And yep, it's gonna be Horus or Joe for the tornado. Well, those Thrym, not Thrym, Thrym Frost Giants are quite strong, and they definitely do have quite a good support of all those portable rams. So those villagers are having an opportunity to run away. There is a way through behind the forest, so they don't need to die here, all of them. As the armies finally come in here with all those laborers, of course. But yeah. Yeah, this is at least slowing things down right now for GrandMonster. These towers. That's at least something. He's right now having enough time to push all the army in there. But I would be liking him most definitely to put up some walls. Otherwise, something that happened before is gonna be happening again. Yeah, Brickhead is just gonna be sneaking something in there, and you will have version number 2 of the back build. Okay, so very important, yet another Migdol in here next to the gold mine. This is gonna be 2 Migdols right next to the enemy lines, or rather next to the battle lines, which is of course gonna be resulting into elephants being there very soon. Because if you need to send elephants from like here, yeah, you just basically grow a beard before they get there. And this is gonna be changing the dynamic quite a bit, and not even the prodrome might be really strong enough for that. But let's see. This is gonna be, of course, exactly tornado in the most sensible space. But this is gonna be killing the TC, because right now it's picking up plenty of other damage. Because the tornado works in a way that it has a set amount of damage, and if it's basically wasting it on other buildings, it's not gonna be killing the one you want, like for example the town center. As Mythic Age though is through, that's looking like exactly here. Yep, so kinda goodbye army from Joe. Well, Hera definitely got angry. And of course Hera is a very nice idea, not only for the lightning storm, but because Joe is going for the elephants, and one-shotting elephants with Medusas. Yeah, I'll take that any day. I'll take that any day, if I have proper micro, of course. And, like, Medusas are not really all that cheap, and if you can really control them well, they're absolutely brutal against elephants. Just basically kill them in one shot, like, yeah, why not? Why not? Look into my face and die. This is gonna be, of course, pretty good push right about now with 4 elephants. He's already having some nice upgrades. It would be like in some upgrades into them. Right now, heavy Epicons are having the baseline for quite some time already, and the catapults are an issue. It can be dealt with the horses, of course, but yep, it's gonna be a question of time before it kinda succeeds for Joe, it seems. On the right flank, the battle is not going all that well for Brickhead, even though he's already at all 4 TCs that he can get his help, or rather get his hands on. So... this is looking like they could be winning, because not only because of the population limit that much, but because of upgrades. Those heavy raiders and the baseline with bronze on the Pierce shields is definitely gonna help. The opponent is having nothing. What is he actually having in here? Ah, yeah, the cheaper archers and whatever. So cheaper chariot archers, it's not bad. That's not really all that bad. Yeah, it's not exactly going to be working, because having just basically pierce damage army against all the horses, Jarls even coming up, and of course the Rams, not gonna be working that well. You can see the GrandMonster apparently doesn't have even 4 mercenaries. Well, he's trying to make them, but the gold is most definitely running out, and significantly so. And since he's not even getting into the next age, while Brickhead might? Apparently not, sorry. I was really expecting that maybe Brickhead could be, but with the 4 TCs it makes sense that, yeah, it's gonna be a prolonged heroic age fight, and that's gonna be coming definitely for him, because he seems to be really getting his economy going, but having his economy going a whole lot better. And even the elephants don't seem to be doing a whole lot, and even missing 45 TC, not good news. Not good news. Thundering hooves are coming up. Okay, so making the horses even better, but still the army is kinda dwindling. Those rams are like the most important part that is still very much alive. Otherwise, yeah, the TC is doing his job, and the Migdol kinda as well, and mainly of course the mercenaries. How's it looking with the gold? not all that promising. They're gonna be basically taking the gold from each other. But on the left, oh well, Wuffles definitely right now pushing back on his opponent. Already having Champion Hippicons. Champion Hippicons with still the baseline of upgrades. Nothing in there. As on the right, Helepolis, yeah, they're gonna be getting rid of all the mid-goal strongholds. You could have seen that Joe was actually having 3 of them here. In the end, it didn't really do him all that much. It didn't really do him all that much. Of course, this might be right now running into kind of situation that basically Wuffles would be hoping that he can actually win against Joe faster than GrandMonster could be losing to Brickhead. Because GrandMonster is actually not doing a bad job all that much. Even though Brickhead is more or less biding his time, I'm thinking, at this point. Yeah, this seems that basically the breaking point might be once the gold mines actually run out, because at this point we don't see any, how to call it, any trade really going on, just basically kind of short one, not all that efficient. And the trade is gonna be falling as soon as this TC falls. But yeah, well, that's also gonna be point where the GrandMonster falls. But yeah, I kinda guess, you know what I'm trying to say. These gold mines are gonna be like the last lifeline for both of these players. And once they run out, not even the trade is probably gonna be saving them. Is there something going on the water? Not much. Just green trying to be annoying. Yeah, that's nice. Trying to basically clear up all the economy. And really? You're really not having Salt Amphora at 26 minutes when you have 1 water? It's a shame. Could have been so better. You are playing really reasonably well, or rather pretty well. Sorry, wanted to say really pretty well. But having all that extra food income could be making things a bit easier for you. It's a shame. Bit of a shame, but still. Upgrades still not coming up in there. How's it looking for Joe, who is having heavy spearman in the baseline. So that's at least looking like that it might be getting there. Balder though, oh yeah. Brickhead is coming into this side to game, or rather into this side in the game. Yeah, he's all over the GrandMonster already. So it's not like he's needed all that much. Yeah, right now GrandMonster is even gonna be resigning. And yeah, just basically the Balder and the Ragnarok would be deciding that all that much. So, congrats Dots. Winning the match 3-2 and winning the first round, getting some important points in here. But it was definitely one hell of a fight. Took all 5 games of the best of 5. And even this one wasn't all that easy because they lost the water. But they transition into the land was just better. It was just better. But nicely played Wuffles on the left side against Joe. It really wasn't looking how bad for him. Just the unit choice was needed to be a bit different in that he was already switching to Hypaspis, so that's okay. Maybe it would be like in a bit more Myrmidons, but of course in Vanilla you can make them only from Fortress. So it's not that easy to produce them. It's not that easy, and it's kinda better used for Helepoli in that case. So yeah, those Hypaspis might be slightly better in here. So yeah, nice. Let's check the post game then. It's gonna be for Wuffles, the best total score. Interesting. Quite interesting, as the economy was not really that different from him and Brickhead. So I can kinda see that maybe if the game was different, or rather if they were turned around the players, where Joe was facing against GrandMonster like in an Eggy War, and Brickhead was facing against Wuffles, it might have gone a bit better for MCBs, but yeah, well, that's how it went. And Dots prevailed. Yeah, a bit of a tribute, nothing all that major apparently, between GrandMonster and Wuffles. And Joe having nice military count, but not really all that effective, apparently. Yeah. This is just basically symptomatic of GrandMonster's troubles in the game. That were caused by Brickhead's back build, of course, because it was kinda built and came into power exactly at the time when GrandMonster was coming for second TC, and when he couldn't. It absolutely threw his game out of the window in there, even through the 1 water. Was really nicely done by Brickhead. Nice reaction to lose in the water. Trying to abuse the opponents as fast as possible on the land. And through some clever ways. 7 Threm Frost Giants, that's a good number. Okay, GG. And yet again, congrats Dots on advancing. Oh, no, not really advancing, sorry. I'm just too used to basically bracket tournaments, but this is played in round robin. They're gonna be playing about 5 rounds, all 6 teams facing each other. So, congrats on getting important points. And definitely looking forward to GrandMonster and Wuffles playing further games, because they definitely do have what it takes to win them, to win matches. So, GG.